Okay, how to manage going to events or social outings with friends and family or a vacation while you're in a quote unquote diet or a fat loss phase. And so I just tell everybody pre-plan. So most people don't want to try to stay in a calorie deficit while you're, going out to dinner, or maybe you're going on vacation, or just, we got Memorial Weekend coming up. So, those types of events. And so really, you have two other options if you don't want to stay in a deficit. We could either go up to a maintenance level to where, I'm not gaining or losing weight during that time, or be okay with going into a surplus and be like, hey, I'm going to eat whatever I want. I'm not going to track anything. And I'm probably going to gain 2 or 3 pounds. So most people don't really want to do that either though. So that kind of puts us back down to, we want to hang out in a maintenance level. So the biggest thing with that is just pre-plan. Like I said, so decide which one of those avenues I'm going to do. I'm going to be either in calorie deficit, maintenance, or surplus. And then from there, that leads us to step 2. It's like, okay, how am I going to maintain? I'm going to go with maintenance here, but how am I going to maintain that maintenance? And so I just say, pre-plan out your food. Typically, if we can just keep our calories in line, so not go above our maintenance levels, for me, it's about 24 to 2,500. And then if we can just hit our protein, everything else is okay. And so literally, I just went on vacation last weekend and hung out in a maintenance level, and weight stayed about the same. And I enjoyed, definitely lower quality, not as good or quote unquote nutrient dense food as I normally would do. And I was okay with that. And so now I've come back from that and I'm back in my calorie deficit. And so, the biggest thing is we can go and enjoy those things. And I honestly think to be successful long-term, we need to be able to do those things while we're in a fat loss, type phase as well, because that's how we're going to maintain our results long-term. If you're just doing a crash diet where you can't ever do anything off plan, and if you do, it ruins all of your results, we know 110% for sure that is not going to work long-term. Therefore, we have to learn how to do those things and be able to quote unquote still enjoy life or go out and do things as well. And so it's really cool, like when you can learn how to do that, like I said, go on vacation for a couple days and then come back and then we pick up right where we left off at after. If you're going on these events all the time, which is fine, but if you're gaining, 2 or 3 pounds, then you got to come back. We got to re-lose those 2 or 3 pounds before we start over in our fat loss phase again. It can be frustrating, although it's not necessarily wrong. It's just, if you're okay with it, we can do that. But don't, be a victim and just say, oh, I ate so good this weekend, and deep down inside, you didn't. You're in a surplus, you weren't tracking, you have no idea where you're at, and it is your fault. And so just be and then you're gonna get frustrated with that. So just be very, very honest with yourself. Like, hey, I didn't do as good as I could have done, and I'm okay with that, and we're just gonna move on from here. Like I said, ideally, hang out on that maintenance level so that way you can go do those events, outings, and then when you come back, you're like, you know what? I didn't do perfect, but I didn't gain any weight. We pick up right where we left off after. And so I just had a client, she went on a vacation for like 5 days, and she came back and she was actually down a couple pounds, and she ate out, I think, for most of her meals, but she was just very on top of making good, healthy choices. She didn't even track her food, but she just has learned how to intuitively eat well, enjoy those things, and not be in a big surplus. And so it's really rewarding too when you can go do that, not track anything, and then come back and you're down a couple pounds from when you left. So I consider that a win. And yeah, and so that's just the biggest thing is, pre-plan what you're gonna do. Pick, do you want to train that to maintain that calorie deficit because you have a big goal that's really, really soon? Or are you okay with, maybe going into a maintenance for that event or vacation, and then we pick up right where you left off of? Or if you want to go all out, gain a couple pounds, but you don't have to think about anything and track anything, and then you just have to do a little bit of work to get back on track. All of those are okay. So just pre-decide which one you're going to do, stick with it, and then we just pick up where we left off after. So hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions.